Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
Welcome to the all-encompassing sports podcast.
Oh, he's having it go!
You'll be hearing from all of the biggest newsmakers in sports,
Hello, you play to win the game.
where you'll hear from all types of guests on all topics.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
What the hell's going on out here?
And now, with sports, Rob.
Hello, I am indeed Rob. Welcome to With Sports Rob. I wanted to introduce my guest today. It's the great Johnny Jobu. He's founder and director at JambonPictures.com. He's a creative guy, aspiring filmmaker. He's in the game, but he's really trying his best to up it. So I really appreciate that about him, fellow creative, which is very cool. And he's a huge sports fan. He knows a lot about baseball, a lot about football. He's also, he doesn't really get into this, but he's also a UConn Husky fan. But yeah, so he's got a lot of knowledge there. And he's here today mostly to talk about the Bills. I do want to make a quick editorial note that Johnny Jobu was traveling this week. So his episode was filmed last week. Not this past week, but the week before. So some of the information is out of date. It was hard to edit that out because it was such an interesting conversation. So I kept that in there. But I hope you enjoy my conversation with Johnny Jobu. Hey, Johnny Jobu. Thanks for being my guest today.
Oh, happy to be here. Thanks, man.
So yeah, let's get into your backstory. How'd you get into sports? What are your teams? And what do you feel about them?
Oh, this is loaded because there's a lot of heartbreak as part of this. I mean, so I've been a Yankees fan since before I can remember. I've been very blessed to be a Yankee fan, I must say. I can complain about the recent years. And,
Last 15 or whatever, last 10 or whatever. Yeah.
No, it's that's been rough. And seeing the Dodgers, hire sign everybody. I just want to rip my hair out. But that's okay. That's okay. We always have next year, and we still have Aaron Judge. I've been a Bills fan since 1992. Gym class, Mr. Campbell. We had the best football team in the entire school. This is I'm talking middle school here, 5th grade. Our name was the Buffalo Bills. We had Eric Holzer. We had Brian Nappy. We had Brendan Burke. You couldn't stop us. And then you had me. I mean, I was awful. I did get a touchdown in the championship. That being said, ever since Buffalo Bills, having that as our team name, and I really started to get into the Bills. I mean, then it's been filled with let's just say a whole lot of stress and heartbreak. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have 4 straight years of Super Bowl, getting all excited. Here we go. First year, nope. Second year, Third year, nah. Nice try. Fourth year, goodbye.
Right.
That hasn't been fun. And then we have the recent history of the Chiefs. We're getting a lot of excitement. Okay, we got it this year, 2021. Nope. 22. Nope. 24, 25. And then this year.
Well, let's save this year for a little bit later.
The Chiefs.
Go on.
Right.
Go into any thoughts you have about the Chiefs or whatever. But yeah, let's save the Bills particulars for a little bit later.
We'll save that. Absolutely.
All that you want to save? Okay. All right. Yeah. So you've obviously been you've been an influence on me. You've upped my fantasy football and fantasy baseball game. So tell me a little bit about your fantasy sports background.
I've been playing fantasy sports also since the years of Mr. Campbell. That's when I was first introduced to it. We had, I think in 7th grade, there was a sort of like a fantasy baseball league that we had there, all on paper. And ever since then, I've been, really, I'd say obsessed with it.
Right.
The last 20 years is when I've been like full on Jobu Baba Gadoosh, cannot stop me.
Right.
I had a college league that's still going for both baseball and football, and then I have another baseball league in which I'm the commissioner. In baseball, I've won 6 times, and in football, I've won maybe 5, 6, no, eight combined time for both of those leagues.
Okay.
What does it take? It takes a lot of, I'd say, is it obsession? I am constantly checking the team, checking the waivers, aggressively going after everybody. In baseball, where it's a league where it's a dynasty league, and you could also trade your draft picks. Every year, I'm trading away my draft picks for next year so that I could just get the best players. And
Right.
And since 2015, I've won 6 times.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, I'm a bit obsessed. But this is like it's part of my DNA is fantasy sports. And I don't ever like I think about every year, man, this is a lot of work. Baseball especially, I'm like, and it's stressful until you get to the playoffs, which I'd say always in the playoffs, and it's
Constantly.
like every single move, every single decision I'm stressing about. It's a head-to-head league. Why did I do that? Why did I start that? You idiot! But sometimes it's like gambling, like anything. It's like you make a decision, you do it based on data, and you think you have you made the right decision, and that doesn't always work out your way. But again, it's stressful, but I don't ever see myself stopping despite all the stress and time that I put into it.
Well, I have to admit, I'm actually in one of those baseball leagues and the football league with you. So yeah, I know you'll trade some players or some draft picks or some players. I think you moved the first rounder to me this year in baseball for a couple players.
Yes.
I think you got some players from the Dodgers who maybe reality hate, but you may like the Dodgers a little bit in fantasy baseball.
They helped me win. I
Yeah.
hate them in real life, but I'll take them.
Well,
The ones I will never take, sorry to interrupt, are the Boston Red Sox. I don't think I've had a Red Sox on my team. And does that seem, it's not, I guess that's not wise. It's like you do whatever it takes to win, but
I'm the same. As I've kind of revealed in the past couple episodes, I'm a Mets fan. So yeah, I don't really, I try to avoid, I don't avoid them at all costs, but I try to avoid drafting or trading for or picking up Yankees. So we're basically at ends on this one. Which isn't that hard. The Yankees don't have that many good players right now. It's Aaron Judge and the rest of them. I mean, Cody Bellinger, whatever.
Yeah. I wanted Tucker. I mean, listen, he ended up top 40 player, Bellinger. I think he's a good leader for the team, played great defense. We don't have to get into the details of that right now. As a fantasy player, I think he's again, top 50. He'll be that again this year. He's got Aaron Judge to combine with him, but I wanted Tucker. So
no, I think everyone wanted Tucker. Yeah. But yeah, so obviously you did discuss gambling a little bit. We're recording this the week before championship, the week of championship Sunday. So we're going to discuss the Super Bowl a little bit. We'll get into some of the Bills matchups against the teams in the Super Bowl. But I got to say, I know we discussed gambling. I don't know the line on the Bills Broncos, but tell me a little bit about the Heartbreak and what you thought about that Bills Broncos game.
Listen, I'll tell you, like, part of the DNA of being a Bills fan is heartbreak. This year though, with the Chiefs out of it, no Mahomes to mess with my friggin' mental health. I thought, okay, we got this. The Broncos game, I knew was going to be tough. Their defense is phenomenal. Bo Nix, may he rest in peace. Incredible young quarterback. But I thought, okay, we could do this despite not having the best weapons on offense. At least when it comes to wide receiver, not enough weapons for Allen. I love Cooks and all that, but it just. I had high hopes, okay, and there was too many mistakes by the Bills. I'll say that. There's the fumble, the interception. I think there were 4 interceptions. You can't. Again, fine. The Broncos have great defense, but there was just one too many mistakes in that game. You weren't putting enough pressure on Nix. Couldn't get to him. But that interception, come on, like. I know there's controversy. I know the official ruling. Okay, it didn't complete the process of the Cats. But I don't think that was. I think it just was an interception. And then the pass interference calls, the 2 calls One of them, I'd say, okay, fine, I'll give it up. That was that was pass interference, but the other one, hell no. And that was it. Another disappointing end to a game, and they need to make some moves. They need to make some moves if they're gonna ever get back to the Super Bowl and
right.
win the Super Bowl.
Right. Well, it's going to be tough. I mean, I don't know how you feel about the Patriots with Drake May. Obviously, they're going to be competitive over the next 5-10 years with that team there, and that's in your division, so that's going to be problematic for you guys.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. So
Drake May is also an incredible quarterback, and they have a young running back. Two good running backs.
Yep.
They're going to continue to get better. Excellent defense, excellent coaching. Patriots are going to be tough.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we have to talk about is that interception. I've seen it maybe 3, 4, 5 times. I have to agree with you. I think it was a catch. I know most analysts have said basically it wasn't a catch, but I don't know how that wasn't a catch. Maybe there's some maybe when he rolls over he loses control. I don't know, but it looked like he completed the process through the ground. Brandon Cooks did.
The process. You couldn't, and there just wasn't enough evidence to say, oh, he lost control. They just, I mean. Review it, take a deeper look.
That's the thing,
just,
yeah. Well, that's what Sean McDermott was saying,
yeah.
And obviously,
just review it. Come on.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's
so
another
pivotal.
Another discussion to have is Sean McDermott. How do you feel about his firing? We'll wait to get on to who the next coach may be, but let's just in terms of how you feel about what went down, his kind of losing his job, and what your thoughts on that are.
Yeah, I was surprised, but I guess. I don't really know what's happening behind the scenes there. He's got a high floor, excellent culture. He's been quite consistent. I'd say the ceiling maybe is capped. We've seen these, one playoff loss after the other. I mean, they made the playoffs all these years, that they've been solid. He helped develop Allen. I mean, again, it comes down to not having enough weapons for Allen. You need to have a top 5 wide receiver. That being said, after 7 years with Josh Allen, is he the guy to raise the ceiling? Is he the guy to bring them the championship?
You mean McDermott?
And maybe not. Yeah. Was he the
not
guy?
Not Allen? You're not questioning Allen, are you?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No. Yeah, no, but after being 7 years with Josh Allen, is McDermott the guy? Oh, yeah, no, Josh Allen is my god.
Right. So,
Jobu, but yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously the McDermott firing kind of came out of nowhere. I've discussed with my previous guest last week. He would like to see the Jets fire Aaron Glenn and go after a guy like McDermott. He's a solid coach.
I bet he would. I bet he would.
I don't know if you have any thoughts on the Jets.
I think the Jets have more problems than just that. Absolutely awful. I mean, the worst, maybe perhaps the top 5 worst football teams in the history of any league of football. Like I'm talking even 6th grade.
The XFL. It's okay. Okay. Get into it. Tell me. 6th grade when what? Go ahead.
I'm just saying. You can't get any worse than this team. And anyway, I'm looking 6th grade. I'm looking at the team that you were on, Rob. In Mr. Campbell. I mean, I don't think you guys scored a single touchdown the whole year. That's how I feel about the Jets this year. That's how I feel about the franchise. And and they're not going to get any better. Just give it up. Why do you? I mean, again, you're a fan for life. I get it, but that's just that's a lot of pain. And it's a lot of, psychologist therapy bills you're gonna have to pay.
That's why I'm in therapy. Yeah.
But,
all right. So we've discussed it.
I pray for you.
I appreciate that. But yeah, so the next head coach of the Bills, we're looking at Joe Brady, Daboll, Lou Anarumo from the Colts, previously the Bengals, the defensive coordinator, Jaguars offensive coordinator Grant Udinski, Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, and run game coordinator and running backs coach Anthony Lynn for the Commanders. That's who Diana Rossini is reporting for The Athletic that the Bills are looking at. I don't know if you have a preference, what direction. Maybe not one of those guys. You can go any direction you want, but do you have a preference on who they should go after at coach?
I would like to go full offense,
okay.
And that's why, Udinski, he's one of the youngest offensive minds. offensive minds, and he showed brilliance with Jacksonville after they were just god awful. Then again, he's never been the primary play caller. There's a lot of experience gap. When it comes to January, when experience is everything. But it would be an interesting pick.
That's fascinating,
and,
yeah.
And someone that I think Josh Allen would really get behind. It's gonna be from what I hear, Josh Allen will have a say in who they take. I mean, you can't ignore defense, So when like the Lou Anarumo.
Yep.
Let's say yes, it is.
Out of the Colts. Yep. Previously the Bengals.
Defensive coordinator. So that one could be interesting as well. Anthony Weaver. I don't know. You don't really want someone from the Dolphins. But yeah, I'm thinking. I have high hopes for Grant. Joe Brady.
That's what I was.
He has strong rapport with Josh Allen. Obviously, excellent offensive track record. Not his fault that they haven't had the weapons. I would be happy with that as well.
Okay.
So remains to be seen.
But it sounds like you're high on Udinski.
I am. Yeah. No,
Okay.
like really innovative plays. Like would bring a bit, more excitement. But again, without the weapons, it's still not going to be enough. So let's have to see what happens in the offseason.
Sure. And speaking of the weapons, I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. I heard a commentator, one of the hot take guys in ESPN, say maybe they should bring in. No, actually, it was on VSiN, I think. But they were talking about maybe bringing in AJ Brown, kind of disgruntled in Philly. Do you feel like he'd be too much of a head case, or do you feel like he'd be good number one for the Bills?
No. We don't need head cases right now. I mean, I'd rather have Pickens, who's also a bit of a head case, than AJ. I think the team needs focus. We don't have drama on that team. I would rather I know Olave is not the market necessarily, but if you could find it, even like Shaheed,
yes,
Kobe would be interesting.
Myers, you mean? Or
yeah.
Is Myers Jacoby Myers? Is he a free agent? I don't even know. From the rate, he's on the Jaguars now.
Yep, he's on the Jaguars now, and I'm sure they're going to try to keep him. But he's anyone could potentially be.
Well, I know could be traded for. Yeah, so you're just discussing guys you'd like to see. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. Debo, he's got game breaking talent. It's a bit versatile run receive, but I don't know. And he'd be, expensive. Juwan Jennings, not an alpha, but, solid, reliable target. Other than Olave, though, none of these are like premium options, right. Top 5 to 10. So they're going to need to, they have to figure it out. They need to get a top weapon for Josh.
Another premium number one guy that's coming available in the offseason will be Brandon Ayuk. He's a bit of a head case. Maybe you don't like him either.
Yeah, again, the head case factor, injury. Yeah. What was his injury history this year?
Well, he missed. He was injured coming into the season. He was trying to rehab on his own. I don't remember the exact nature of the injury, but he didn't play at all for the Niners because he was away from the team basically, and they said you're not coming back. And they just announced, I think yesterday, that they want to trade him.
Yeah, again, talent, but we don't need the drama.
Right. Okay. And I don't know. Did you see Pagula's press conference? The Bills owner?
Actually, no.
Okay.
No.
Well, he kind of threw McDermott under the bus and basically said Keon Coleman was a McDermott pick, not a Bean pick. I don't know if you feel. How do you feel about them keeping Bean and getting rid of McDermott, the GM?
Yeah. I mean, look at the history of the moves. I'm not happy. Yeah,
right.
I don't know of any Bills fan that's happy right now. So. That I thought was a bit sketch. What's going on behind the scenes there. Maybe he has some dirt on him. Who knows? I wonder that with Cashman too, but let's not get into that right now. I think it's a bit sketch.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't get, and I've heard a lot of people say Bean is the GM. It's basically a roster construction issue. As you've mentioned, they don't have a true number one at wide receiver. The Packers and Bills. I was talking to Rob Adams about this prior to the Bills-Broncos game, but the Packers and Bills basically don't have enough. Packers drafted Matthew Golden. He basically caught nothing this year. He was on my fantasy team, just to speak to that. He may be there next year. I'm not trying to reveal anything, but I kept him on my bench the whole season. But yeah, I mean, it's the same. It just seems like the Packers wide receivers can step up in the moments where it matters. The Bills kind of showed that last year, not this year, but the previous year. But this year, the receivers kind of seem to fall apart.
Yeah. No, really underwhelming. I like Shakir. I like and tight ends can be exciting.
The tight ends are good.
Yeah,
the tight ends are good.
Yeah, but it didn't all click, right? It didn't click, and it was all on Allen to use his legs and his brains and to get beaten up and whatever it took. And of course Cook, who I love, but it just wasn't enough. And they need to get it. They need to get some help.
Yeah, and we won't get into too much into this, but their defense, their backs, obviously last year they had a ton of interceptions, but is that sustainable? Can they keep that up? I'm talking about in 2024-25, they had a ton of interceptions. But yeah, I mean, even on defense, they got to make some moves. So there's a lot, for it's basically Josh Allen, James Cook, and a roster of kind of can of soups, just kind of guys that are there, that are kind of doing their thing.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, that's what it is. And like Bills defense, they're disciplined and some smart. They have good communication. They limit some big plays overall, but there's no game record. There's no one who's just like banging down, and forcing turnovers or sacks. They're more reactive, I'd say, not aggressive enough. Look what happened, with Bo Nix. They're aging too. They have limited speed on the back end. So the defense could win games, but it doesn't change games. When it comes to elite quarterbacks, so that we'll see what they do there.
Yeah, I mean, I
need
will
a
admit,
pass rusher.
Yes, yeah. I mean, was Von Miller on the team this year? Was that Von Miller still there this year? Or was he gone this year? He was on Washington this year. He was on Washington this year.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they brought in Von Miller as a old player, and he looked okay, but as you said, they don't really have a speedy guy on the edge, and they don't have size at linebacker. Matt Milano is their captain, but he's a small guy, and he's the guy with green dot, but he doesn't, he's a smart guy, just not a big guy. He can run down running backs in the open field, maybe make a tackle, but he's not going to bring. The linebacking crew is not going to bring you a lot of girth. It's not a big linebacking crew, which kind of is the way it's going, but I think they have to find some mix of players that's a little bit better than what they have right now.
Agreed.
Yeah. So the Bills are a great story, but I want to know. Obviously, they lost in dramatic fashion. They look like they could have been there. How do you think they would have matched up against the Seahawks if they had made it to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about the Seahawks and God, where'd they come from this year? But, I mean, this would have been a dream matchup. I think Bills offense first, high powered, Josh Allen centric. Seahawks, very balanced, run heavy, physical defense, quarterback who can make plays in clutch moments, and it's been pretty amazing. I think it'd be a classic Super Bowl. I mean, I think the NFL this year in general, like these games have been phenomenal. That would just like top it off. So you have like speed, arm, aerial firepower versus physicality, discipline, run game toughness. It would be a classic. And I'm sad that it's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the idea. I mean, as we just discussed, the Bills' defense is a little weak. Matching up Jackson Smith and Jigba against that Bills defense could have caused some problems. But yeah, with Josh Allen and James Cook, you never know.
You never know. Exactly. I think like you'd have to look at tempo. So Bills would push a faster pace. Seahawks, maybe they'd be controlling the clock with the run.
Yeah.
So you'd have to, whoever's imposing the pace is going to win. You need the explosiveness of Allen. So he break a 40+ yarder. Seattle's D, can prevent the sustained drives, but not always the explosive plays. Either they'd be wearing each other down. Oh man, it would have been an incredible game. Final score would have been 31-27 Bills.
I like it. Bold prediction. So on the other side of the bracket, how do you think the Bills would have fared if they had gotten the chance to play the Patriots and made it to Super Bowl over them? What do you think that would look like, a Patriots-Bills matchup?
Yeah, no, that I think the Bills would have matched up really well against the Patriots. Patriots are an excellent team. Quarterback. He's I love to watch May.
Yeah.
I think this is a rare matchup where the Bills' strengths would line up with the Patriots' weaknesses. So give the edge to the Bills. Patriots offense, I think it's still limited and methodical, to be honest. They don't stress you vertically. They don't force you to play outside your rules. They play right into Buffalo's zone-heavy, disguise-based defense. They could sit in too high and dare New England to sustain, 12-play drives.
Okay.
Come on, bring it on, baby. They lack the explosive wide receiver. I think that would break Buffalo's shell coverage. I think, yeah. I mean, again, I think it would have been a great game, but I would have given the edge to the Bills. I think this would have been, maybe give the Bills the edge by 10 points.
Wow.
Yeah. No, and I think a lot of people would have Patriots would kill him, but no, Josh Allen's mobility, his arm strength, with he's forcing New England out of its comfort zone. Tight end usage, that's been a problem for the Pats linebackers. I think 34-24 is what I would have given the edge to the Bills on this one.
Wow. Okay. I brought this up in one of the previous podcasts. I think, or maybe in a social post I made, I think Keyshawn Boutte will be a deep threat for the Patriots as the years go along. I think he was injured a lot this year, but I think he's a great wide receiver. I think he's the number one threat down the field when that does come to pass over the next 4 or 5 years.
I like him. I love him, and he had that one amazing catch he had.
32-yarder for a touchdown. Yeah.
Oh, it was incredible. No, yeah, I think with a bit more time, consistency, he is at number one right now, and he'll continue to develop.
Right, for sure. So I like your confidence in the Bills, much appreciated. So yeah, that's about all the discussion we have on the Bills for now. But I did want to bring up another passion of yours, which I believe you brought up in your intro. You loved the Knicks in the 90s. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, man. The 90s Knicks, that was, tough, blue-collar, physical basketball. I mean, that was the best era of the NBA in general, late 80s, 90s. And, with the Knicks, you had, two eras. You had, the Oakland, Ewing, Starks. It was just, the grit of that team. Patrick Ewing, as the anchor, before his knees got all messed up. Charles Oakley was just a ridiculous human being, enforcer, grabbing boards, setting the tone defensively. So exciting to watch them. And then John Starks, that fiery, love of my life, guard, scoring spurts.
I'm gonna cut you off right there because amazingly, my next guest next week loves John. He has no connections. He just loved the kind of the nature of John Starks. Yeah. He loves John Starks. He thinks he's one of the greatest point guard of all time.
Wow. Nice.
I don't know if he compares to Magic or any of this, but he just loved the way he played the game. So he really
Starks had swagger. Starks was just really exciting to watch. And just had in the heart that he had. But there was a lot of disappointment, of course. Yeah. Michael Jordan just constantly beating them in any way he wanted to. And then you had the finals versus the Rockets. Pushed Houston to 7 games, but ultimately weren't able to beat out Hakeem and that team. But that was a really fun era. And then you had the Houston, Sprewell, LJ era. Now that's the one that that's I was knee deep in the Knicks at that point. So this was you had Latrell, super athletic, versatile, fearless wing. Allen Houston, pretty smooth scorer, clutch. You saw Patrick as the anchor, but again his knees weren't so good. And then LJ, which was just just loved him. Grandmama back in the days of of the Charlotte Hornets, one of the most ridiculous commercials of all time. But I loved LJ. I loved this team. So, a little story to share. Growing up in Westchester County, and we found out where the Knicks were actually practicing, where the practice facilities were, and I think it was 11th and 12th grade, we went to see that to see them practice, to basically stalk them as they exited the facilities. And we had video cameras. I even got got it, like Van Gundy was doing an interview, and I went in there with my camera. Me with cameras, Rob. I was in there with the camera in the press conference, with my camera on Van Gundy, asking questions. Great conversations with LJ. Patrick Ewing would always try to kick the fans out. There was even one point where this 8-year-old girl she was so excited, she loved Patrick Ewing so much, and she had her notepad out ready to get a signature, and he's just walking by. Can I please have your signature? He takes, with his huge hand, takes her notepad and just walks away. Didn't take it to sign it, just took it. I'm not kidding.
I'm sure you're not kidding. Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyways, that was a great era. Obviously, the 4-point play against the Pacers, finally getting some redemption after Reggie Miller, who killed us again and again and again. What was it, the 8 points in 8
9 or 8
seconds?
points? Yeah.
Oh God. But anyway, that was a point of redemption, and so exciting. Bring the big L. He was definitely one of my heroes back then. A lot of disappointment. As well. Couldn't beat the Spurs. Spurs. I mean, who could beat the Spurs back then? They were big and strong team. But the '90s Knicks. We had a lot of fun with that.
So yeah, give me some thoughts of yours on the Heat Knicks series back in the days.
Oh man, those were classic. So the most memorable for me was the 1998 playoffs. I think it was the first round between the Knicks and the Heat, and LJ got in this fight with Alonzo Mourning. There was a lot of rumors about this, but apparently it had something to do with infidelity. I'm not sure.
I didn't know that. Okay.
But full punch exchange, and then Jeff Van Gundy holding on to Alonzo Mourning's leg for dear life. Guys, if you guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen this fight, you need to go on YouTube right now, look up 1998 fight, Knicks, Heat, LJ, Alonzo Mourning. You'll find it in a second, and you will die laughing, because Jeff Van Gundy, his hair is flopping around, maybe his toupee is coming off. He's holding on to Mourning's leg because he doesn't. He's afraid he's going to get stomped on. Somehow he ended up in the middle of it. Absolutely.
Well, he put himself in the middle of it. He ran out there.
He put himself in the middle, and then he was like, "Oh my God, I'm about to die." So he's holding on to Alonzo Mourning's leg for dear life. This captured just how physical and intense that rivalry was. It was so much fun. I mean, the NBA is not like it used to be. The '90s NBA. Oh man, the passion, you had enforcers. Look at the Pistons, look at the Knicks, look at across the league. It was fun. It was a fun time, and this particular fight, one of many fights that were just absolutely fired up and ridiculous. Again, a lot of these are they really when they're throwing punches, they're missing by 3 feet. Kind of ridiculous. It's not like hockey where these guys know how to fight, and they're right. All right. The refs are like, go fight, do your thing, and then when you get whoever gets knocked down, great, and then you're gonna go in the penalty box. This is it's coming. It's just they don't know what the hell they're doing, flopping their hands around and missing by a yard. But it was always exciting when it got to that point. It doesn't happen as much anymore because they're not allowed to. It's foul here, foul there. They're always stopping the games for everything, but. Yeah, man. If people aren't familiar with '90s NBA, go look up some clips. It was an exciting time.
as you're kind of pointing out, that 90s era, basically the refs, it kind of was hockey in that the refs would kind of let those fights kind of break out and kind of do their thing to kind of self-police the teams as they were doing it. Obviously, that fight between the Knicks and the Heat, I'm sure the refs were not excited to see Van Gundy on the court and Zoe and LJ and everyone just kind of going at it. But yeah, some of the Robin highlights and all the stuff from the Pist, that stuff that was crazy. Yeah, and obviously the Knicks were involved in that as well.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
But yeah, let's get to the post game. So yeah, I don't know if you've got any thoughts on the current Knicks situation.
Oh yeah, no, I've finally, the last couple of years being excited about Knicks basketball again. The last, I'd say 10 games, seeing some gaps. I think they were
2-9 coming.
Like 3-7.
They were 2-9 coming into last night. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're way off pace, but yeah, in terms of the week before championship week, yeah, they were 2-9 coming into the Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So this whole NBA Cup thing, the mid-season tournament. I mean, that was exciting to see them win. It doesn't count for anything really, but hey, they're a balanced team. They have stars. They have versatile defense on the wings. Improving rotation, I'd say. They are a playoff contender again. They need to keep that momentum. Hopefully, they stay healthy. I love Brunson.
Everyone does.
Towns, having a big man, having a rebounding anchor. Mike Brown's, bringing some fresh rotations and identity. Josh Hart. I love watching them. They could scorch you, man. They have some inconsistent stretches. They have some depth tweaks and to make, but overall, I'm feeling good about them. Do they have enough to take it all the way this year? I don't know about that yet, but I am really, really happy with the team right now.
Okay, and maybe this will have. I'm not going to put anything out into the atmosphere, but maybe this will have happened by the time this airs. But any thoughts on trading maybe Karl Anthony Towns and possibly a Hart or maybe some lesser piece for Giannis? Any thoughts on that? Because I know Giannis is pretty unhappy in Milwaukee right now, and there's been some discussion that he wants to come to the Knicks.
That would be interesting. I wouldn't want to mess with
chemistry.
The chemistry, but Giannis is that would be a blockbuster shift in the NBA landscape. I worry about injury. I worry about messing with the chemistry and what they'd have to give up for him. But and obviously Brunson's not going anywhere. No. But it would be an exciting change. Listen, I have no say in it. If it happens,
obviously,
it would be exciting to watch. But I could dream about it. But I would worry about who they'd have to give up and messing with the chemistry, and of course, any injury risks with Giannis.
Right. Well, that's obviously always a risk with anyone you're acquiring. It would be basically getting one good player for a couple decent, a cat and maybe another decent piece, so you would be losing some of that depth and maybe two pieces, whatever. You're a New Yorker. My last two guests are New Yorkers. One of the connections that I've had is this Knicks discussion. You all love the Knicks. My thought about it is Jalen Brunson is the best American player. I don't know how you feel about Jalen Brunson, possible future face of the league. Obviously, has faced in the Knicks. Thoughts on him in terms of what he's doing and just his trajectory?
Yeah, no, I mean, I consistent. I see him elevating his game every year. I think he's now averaging 28 points per game, 6 to 7 assists. If super efficient. He can carry a team as the scorer and the playmaker, not just as a complimentary guard.
Right.
He's got great basketball IQ and leadership. He reads defenses like a veteran coach on the floor, man. He makes his teammates better. Calm under pressure. He always has like the same expression on his face. He's durable. He's rarely missing games. Plays heavy minutes. He's professional. He's got a great mental approach. Again, he's not flashy like Luka, Tatum, and so on, but he's as impactful in winning games. Really the modern prototype of a point guard, a lead guard. Yeah, he could anchor a team for a decade. I think, yeah, obviously face of the Knicks and potentially the league if he continues this trajectory.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I got to say, I would say that when Rob Adams described him as scrappy, he's got kind of that all-American mentality. So I think, as the best American player, is kind of the face of the American-facing side of the league. I think you could say Jalen Brunson is best American player, American face of the league. Obviously, you're not going to say face of the league because you got Giannis, you got Wemby, you got Luka, you got Shea, and all these different players. But I think I think Brunson is definitely in contention for saying he's the best American player, and I think you're in agreement with that.
100%. I think the keys to him becoming a true NBA face, the true face of the NBA, like you need to win a championship. I have to say, like you need to get that. Obviously, well, he has a market exposure. He's in New York.
Yep.
But he's in a need, more of a supporting cast. But like, yeah, as he is a great American player. He is, just as like again having that consistency, always elevating his game so much. The leadership that he's bringing to the team, bringing his teammates up. I love him, and I think we're going to see a lot of amazing things out of him.
So just to tie this back in a bow to our discussion prior to the post game, you prefer kind of the physical, and I would say plodding, kind of the more methodical play of the 90s and 80s and maybe early 2000s to the kind of freewheeling shooting that we're seeing from guys like Steph and all these other, Brown and Brunson and Tatum. You prefer just kind of that physicality, just kind of that makes you feel like the game is really there. It's really means something.
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, every possession mattered.
Right.
Scoring was earned. Physicality defined the heroes like Oakley. God, you were just like, there was just nothing like it. It was much more exciting. The rivalries were much more intense. Now you have very obviously super athletic.
Right.
Ball movement, high percentage, 3-point, but
analytics,
analytic, but it to me, it was much more fun in the 90s. There was that, every possession is a grind. I love the grit. It was just, right. It's just, it's not the same. It's like you have 90s basketball was a battle,
Right.
Today
it was a war.
More of an art.
Yeah.
It was war. Now it's more, it's art,
For sure.
Winning now means exploiting spacing, tempo, and skill. To me, the 90s. I hope we could some point go back to that. I don't know what it's going to take for that, but I think that would be good for the NBA. To be
That's
honest.
fair.
Things move in waves. We'll see what happens.
That's fair. Cyclical.
The new commissioner, whatever it is. Today's game is beautiful, but it's more about the skill than the pain, and the experience of life is all about pain. So let's be realistic. Let's bring it back. This is I think this is what life is all about, and the 90s NBA reflected that.
Well, on that poignant thought, let's leave this behind. Thank you, China Jobu, for my guest. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to come back anytime. And good luck in fantasy this year.
I was going to say, by the way, in fantasy football, I got you next year. I'm not going to finish second again. It's first place next year.
We shall see.
You're going to see.
I mean, you had an amazing. Yeah, you last year you also got in second. The year before that, I think you won the championship.
I'm the Bills. I've had the win, but I'm basically the Bills of our fantasy. I'm always in second place. Or third.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you're the toughest. You're definitely the team to beat in that league. I got lucky this year, and we'll see what happens next year.
All right, Johnny Jubilee, thanks.
Thank you.